What's up, guys? Austin Blanket Chip Rack City MTG coming at you with, I believe this is a first on this channel. Maybe I've played one in one of the streams before, but trying for the first time. Nope, I actually need to fix my deck list here. Let's see. I'm going to go down the off-color fetches, unfortunately, but we're going to try a rack deck splashing a color. It's not something I typically do, just because I do think mono black in most instances is the best version of rack. However, I do think there are some metas, like this one, that's more hostile to the mono black builds I've been playing, that maybe experimenting and thinking outside of the box a little bit more is worth it to try some splashes so that you can keep playing rack even when rack's not great. One of the things that really has been the biggest problem for me thus far has been artifacts and enchantments. And running two Boseijus along with Life from the Loam is a way to recur those. Um, Interesting enough here, Life from the Loam and Witherbloom Command also work really well with Urza Saga. So, and Life from the Loam works really well with Raven's Crime. We're running just two racks in this build. We might want to go up or down one, I'm not sure. But right now we're trying to keep in the main deck Pithing Needle and the Nihil Spellbomb main deck. Instead of Smallpox, I'm trying Sudden Edict in this spot just to see if playing around counter spells against Murktide performs as well as I'm hoping it'll perform. See, another one's we're only running one Urborg in this build. It's something I've tried a couple times off stream is playing less Urborgs when I'm only running four Urza Saga and not worrying about playing Mishra's Factory or anything like that. It's not really been a problem most games. It's very rare. If you have multiple sagas in play, you don't really care about casting your spells anyway, so typically, not always, but typically. The only thing I foresee a little bit of trouble with is maybe reliably getting green mana, but I don't think it shouldn't really be an issue. I am running so that the green splash makes a little bit more sense. Two of what I think is the best planeswalker with a green splash, and that's Grist. Grist allows us to mill, uh, feeding into our Life from the Loam sub plan well, but also in a pinch, you can use it to destroy creatures and planeswalkers. Because it hits planeswalkers, and because Bloodchief's Thirst hits planeswalkers, I'm going to try this splash without running March of Wretched Sorrow, is the one that we run. Sideboard, nothing too crazy. For Leyline of the Void, because we really can't afford to run Relic of Progenitus when we're running this much graveyard interaction on our own. One Liliana, the Last Hope. Uh, it's just kind of the third copy of Plague Engineer here. Gives us a little bit of diversity. So, it's not, when I say it's kind of like a third copy, that +1 gives something -1. It gives our deck just a little bit more diversity, makes it more resilient to removal. Bring it in. We are only running three Liliana the Veils, by the way. I do think four is a little much in this build, especially when you're running two Grists. Uh, for Saga targets post board, Pithing Needle, Nihil Spellbomb, three Tourachs for the control type matchups, one Legion's End to just be removal against low to the ground creature decks, and it's good against Rhinos, two Collective Brutalities for multiple different matchups. It's just a good card that I would have preferred to play in the main deck. Of course, it's good against Burn, good against Counterspell decks, good against Control. Synergizes well with our graveyardy type synergy that we don't normally have. I was trying to find both room for Bloodghast and Rotting Registrar in the 75. It's cards that I've been experimenting with. Right now, I think this list is tight enough that we'd rather have the Grists for more function than extra creature threats somewhere here, so I think that's the right call. We'll play a Modern League, and we'll be playing Loam Rack. Somehow, Jason ended up as our avatar for whatever reason today. It should be fine. We still got the young pyromancer as our actual avatar. I mean the deck box was Jace. So yeah, I don't think I'm really an advocate of mono black when it comes to rack. That being said, I'm also never above trying out different deck lists and things like that in an effort to win. The Boseijus were really the biggest expense, obviously, um, for the deck. Kat's hearing me talk, and she's come over here and make sure she pokes me with her nose 2 or 3 times to make sure that I'm giving her a little bit of love. I guess if I'm not talking, I guess she thinks I'm asleep or not interested. And if I open up my mouth when there's no one else here, she just assumes I'm talking to her. So here she is. Took a minute to get paired there, but we did. We will take the play with this version of the deck. I do think we have to mulligan this hand. One land in our 24 land deck is not great. I think we can keep this. I think we send back the Shadowspear pretty easy here. I had a league that ran really poorly. The overall record wasn't good, but a lot of good things happened all league. Um, where this card just looked amazing because of that. Permanents your opponent's control lose hexproof and indestructible until the end of turn. It was pretty hilarious with a few interactions, especially against a General Ferris deck that uh, I found out that specifically just because it says hexproof from monocolor, that's not a separate ability than just regular hexproof would be. Like it's still just considered hexproof. So that's interesting. I was afraid that maybe they were two different abilities because of the wording, but it's not. So if that ever comes up, at least on MTGO, that's the case. I'm going to lead on a Nihil Spellbomb here. You have a very reactive hand instead of a proactive hand. I'm not sure what that really means for us, but this is tough. I think we're going to wait one turn on the Saga. Maybe it's correct to go ahead and play it out. But I have a feeling that we're going to be wanting to use some of our mana on following turns. At least on the next 2 turns. Sorry, I've just got off work about an hour ago, so enjoying a little bit of a snack. It's been a little bit under the weather, so not been as keen on. Don't think we want to play anything here yet. I do think we could just go ahead and play the Saga now. Keeps our opponent from being able to just sit back. Yeah, been a little bit under the weather, so not had much interest in eating an entire supper for the past few days. So just kind of snacking's kind of been the go-to for now. Just going to keep holding the spell ball up until our opponent gives us a reason to not hold it up. I think there's a good chance that they're a Rakdos scam deck. This one's a little bit frustrating. As we do lose our Saga here. The Magus of the Moon really makes me think that they may be a scam deck. So we're going to keep holding up this Nihil Spellbomb. This also allows us to play around like floating a black mana and sacrificing our Spellbomb. And we don't get the full value out of it, but at least that keeps us from being cold to this Magus of the Moon. If they have more copies of it. Okay, so they were a scam deck the whole time. I think we're fine with this. I'm kind of questioning if I want to 2-4 myself or not. I don't think I do. I think I would rather just have the Witherbloom Command or the option to draw a card still with the Fatal Push. Because Witherbloom Command will allow us to get back the Urza Saga. Okay. Opponent does take the Fatal Push, which I'm not sure what to think about that one. So we're going to target ourselves with the mill and our opponent with the life loss. Hopefully we hit a life from the Loam here. We do not. We do hit some Raven's Crimes, though, so that's good. We'll go ahead and Raven's Crime them. If we can find a Loam here, we'll really start going off. And you'll get to see some of the power of the deck. So they do definitely appear to be the scam deck. Oh, well, I can't tell if they are or not now from that play. It's an odd one. Okay, we'll take 3 here. Notably, it is kind of difficult for them to kill our Saga token with their Mayhem Devil right now, at least. Okay, I think we're fine with not casting the Liliana at least this turn. Honestly, the best thing we could have drawn there is probably a land. Opponent taking their time, deciding what they want to do. I think that, yeah, that's what I was going to say, too, that making them take a combat step to deal with our Liliana potentially later on, I think it's the correct play as well. Okay, getting green there makes me think, one, it makes me wonder why they're running Magus of the Moon if they're in their main deck, if they're 3-color, unless they have a way to tutor it out somehow. Definitely not going to make this token until they attack, just in case there's a Fury that they're trying to set up a big play for. Okay, they're not going to attack with the Devil. And we will not block. Three damage hasn't really given us much of an incentive to block here. Opponent's still taking their time. Go ahead and make a Saga token. See if they have some removal in hand. It appears they do not, which makes me think they definitely have a grief of some sort. Get the Shadowspear. They do get to deal a damage. Let's see where they throw that at. Sorry to me, that's good. That means that they don't really have any outs here as far as like being able to kill our construct tokens. Let's get just basic swamp. Of course, that helps us play around. We don't have a basic forest anyway in the deck, but even if we did, I think we'd get basic swamp here. Like I said, I don't think they have a fatal push. I think they would have used it at the end of their turn. Okay, getting that attack in is really big. Let's see how much they telegraph having a Fury this turn. If they attack with the Mayhem Devil, that definitely lets us know they have a Fury. More than likely. Okay, they just have a Fury. I wonder if they know how this interacts. Like, it only does 4. Okay. Okay, they just have the fetch land. Got it. Now I'm curious if they'll sit back and block or not. Not a huge fan of that attack, but also get it. Hmm. Let's see. Do we have lethal here? I think we might. Loam looks pretty good in this spot. Attack. We'll see if they're willing to trade the Fury. They are. We still get the 2 damage over, and we trade, so I'm fine with this. So we'll get back Saga, Peatland, Overgrown Tomb. Just tap this for green. That was my bad. Not used to running cards that aren't just the color that we prefer in the deck here. Let's see. This is tougher, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Let's actually just get the last 2 cards out of their hand. Let's not worry about playing the Liliana here. This prevents them from doing any shenanigans where they have like another Fury in hand or something like that. Okay, they just had a couple Seasoned Pyromancers. But I think this is guaranteed lethal if we play it this way. There's some ways that we can miss if we play Liliana out with them having good cards in hand. Okay, yeah, they know there's no way out of it. Cool, cool. 1-0. I do think we want more ways to a little bit more ways to interact with their graveyard, but probably just the Nihil Spellbomb is really our only option. Leyline of the Void's just kind of dead against them. Tourach's bad. Legion's End is probably not good. Pithing Needle's probably not good. Is there anything else we want to take out? Fatal Push isn't the best against them, but it's a little bit better. Maybe we'll go down 2 Fatal Push for another one of these removal spells. I'm not sure which one's the best. Probably Collective Brutalities, because Collective Brutalities can kill Magus of the Moon and Grief still. All right, well, deck looked pretty good. We'll see how this plays out. This is our combo for the deck in hand, and it's like this is the best. They could do the evoke grief thing, and it would just look silly. I hope that's what they have actually, instead of a Ragavan here. Hopefully it's an evoked grief. Yep. This is like we just get both of these cards back. That's pretty hilarious. So hopefully now they feign death it, and they or Undying Malice, same type of thing to me. And we're not going to mill. We're just going to take a natural draw. Let's get rid of one of our swamps for now. We have the second swamp that we can still play our spells with. Next turn, hopefully they don't have a spell that they can cast, and we can just empty their hand. Perfect. Well, they do get an unlucky witness, but what are you going to do, you know? Okay. We're still not going to mill with Loam. Play an Urza Saga here, and we'll go ahead and get their last card out of their hand, just in case it's something crazy. It's probably a Magus. Oh, it's Fury. Same type of thing. Their deck is rather fragile, I think. I understand the logic by okay, a Diabolic Intent. Well, we're just going to Raven's Crime, whatever they tutored for away. Because there's a pretty high likelihood that the best card in their deck's not going to be. Oh, they just got a land. So they still have a card in hand, right? Yeah, they do. So let's see. This is tough. I'm going to get rid of the Saga, though. I should have played the Overgrown Tomb, probably. Good decision from our opponent getting the Blood Gas there, I think. Thinking ahead. Oh, so they got the land off the trigger. Got it. Let's go ahead and mill now. Let's get a rack. We can afford to take one more smack off the grief, I think. I don't think they're running Lightning Bolt. If they are, they'll probably bolt the Construct token. I do think we race pretty good here. We can go Life from the Loam, get back Saga. We do have to block the Bloodghast. If they do have like, um, well, I guess, there's not really anything that can punish us. Okay, just Undying Malice. Yeah, that doesn't really punish us any. Uh, so tricky here. We have to equip with Shadowspear. If we attack, we go to 7, and then they kill us. We get Saga Swamp. We get Saga Swamp Saga. So we have to rely on them to make a mistake here, which is unfortunate, but they have to attack with both creatures. It's actually it won't matter no matter what. Hmm. All they have to do no matter what is just keep the grief around. So the grief did get there. It took us too long to get our removal spell. Yeah, we'll just concede. There's not a line there that we get out of that, unfortunately. I think we just run it back the same. We will be on the play. I like this hand for on the play pretty well. This is going to be weird because we're actually going to lead on Thoughtseize instead of Inquisition in case we want to get a Grief or a Fury. Normally you never do that, but is what it is. I just take the Magus. Neither card in hand do we particularly want to be Inquisition, but we will. Let's lead on the Inquisition. Okay, yeah, we're not going to worry about Inquisitioning again, and we're going to play our Urza Saga. So they're playing one of the earlier iterations of the what's called the Scam deck. That interesting to fetch a swamp there. Maybe they're really hoping that they draw into a second Magus. It's rather wishful thinking, though. We definitely don't mind to get Thoughtseize here. Just gonna play the Bloodghast. Got it. Okay, we won't be blocking Bloodghast for the entire game, probably. Unless our Saga tokens just get so big it doesn't matter. Getting rid of the intent there is important because keeps them from just turning this into another Magus of the Moon. Hopefully we just keep drawing lands here. Drawing a lot of spells, but makes me think that they don't have much of anything. Maybe they have a Fury or Grief that we could have to worry about next turn, but I guess they could have a Fatal Push, but I don't remember seeing Fatal Push, so maybe they don't. It's an awful lot of cards in their deck list to be running cards like Push. Oh, this is a pretty good draw. Let's just keep our chain going. In this deck, we maybe want Springleaf Drum. As weird as that seems. Well, I don't know how weird it seems, but it's definitely a card we might consider. Just because being able to make that 1 mana of any color for Loam is nice. Just a Blood Moon, that's fine. The constructs are already in play at this point. We've got a good clock. Fury could be tough. They can attack with the Bloodghast if they want to, but wouldn't make any sense now. That's a good draw. That allows us to equip. They're pausing like they have a lightning bolt, but I'm not sure why they wouldn't have used it by now if they had that. So we'll get in there. Maybe we should have Inquisition there, but I don't think so. Just a Grief, probably. Okay. I think we just played the patient game here. Not sure why it won't let me undo. There we go. Let's play the patient game. Not sure why they would take the Fatal Push, so no need to play it. I do think taking the Fatal Push is probably not correct, but I could be wrong. Opponent seems like they probably have an extra land they were debating on playing or not. Let's take the Rebirth. We're going to just attack for 4 this time. I think we're more ahead than we are behind, but them being able to grief here, if we could have gotten the grief instead of the rebirth, we would have been in much better shape. So they definitely have to take the edict unless they just, yeah, as like, unless they think that we have a bunch of basic forests in our deck somewhere. Curious if they attack with both. I don't know why you wouldn't just attack with Bloodghast though. So I think it's correct to attack with just one construct here, and that allows both to get killed, both griefs to get killed if they want to double block, or just one, and then they just keep going because Bloodghast can't block, so it's not like they can just sit back and chump here. Yep, they make the block that I figured they would make. Both of them are gone. Does make our construct a little bit weaker. Hopefully they don't have any non-spells in here. Okay, just another grief. That's fine. They can take the loam. Now we have to start debating on how we want to attack and if we want to attack next turn. And not being able to make green through a blood moon is tough. We wouldn't have been able to this game no matter what we did. We definitely don't want to mill right now. Okay. I don't necessarily want to expose or like let them have the information of my hand right here. Let's just play a Verdant Catacombs and pass, even though that's just objectively worse than playing the swamp out. Maybe that'll continue the mystery. Maybe they'll Thoughtseize or whatever else. I doubt if they're playing grief, they probably don't have Thoughtseize. Okay, can't play any of their spells. No, we would not like to loam. Okay, that's a pretty good draw. This is pretty creative here. So we can just immediately kill our. I guess they have Undying Malice probably. Okay, that makes sense that they have it, but it's not like they can take anything though. Now that they know about the swamp, we don't care to just play it. They die a lot of different ways though from this point. Like one life is not very much, but it's not zero, so they have ways out too. I have no clue why they're not getting in with this blood gas. Like that makes no sense to me. I think we just uptick, making them sacrifice the blood gas doesn't do anything. See, like they just dump their land there, and if they want to attack the Liliana with the grief, then we have lethal. Unless they can somehow get a Fury in play. Okay, just a Ragavan. No, don't want to loam. We'll Thoughtseize. I think it's fine to Thoughtseize here. Okay. For now, we're just gonna uptick again. Now we know that getting their blood gas back is a little bit more difficult, so ulting Liliana is also kind of a win condition at this point. So now we definitely don't want to expose Liliana. As I say, they still can't really attack. Well, that's great. Okay. I don't think there's anything in our deck. Takenuma would be the only thing that I would strongly consider getting. Next turn, I think we just ult, separate their creatures, and that should be game. This kills them in pretty much every instance. Let's see what they exile off the Unlucky Witness. Okay, that should be lethal, unless I'm just wrong. Okay, GG. Right on. All right, so 1-0. A little bit of a trickier matchup to navigate there. So got a little bit quiet there for quite a while. I'm going to eat a little bit of my snack here, so if you want to fast forward through this part of the video until we find part of the queue, you're more than welcome to. I won't really have a tremendous amount of time to go through and like edit and chop up the video. I just kind of have to record leagues and post them up as I go. I got paired up pretty quickly, thankfully. I like this hand pretty well. It's a loose keep, but I do think it's a keep. Guess our opponent's debating really hard on whether or not they want to keep their hand. Or maybe they just don't realize that they've matched yet. This is the kind of annoying thing about it automatically queuing you. Is that people who weren't ready for it and like weren't ready to just hit like accept or join the way that they used to. Now, okay, so they were probably just in the tank. Maybe they weren't. Let's see what our opponent's got. Opponent does keep. Let's see what their turn one play is. Arid base almost always means burn. Getting Hallowed Fountain is very weird. Sagardazade. Okay. We do Thoughtseize here, I think. Just take the Pure Steel. There are a few turns from casting the Pure Steel. Well, not necessarily, but they're not casting the Pure Steel right now anyway. Boseiju's good here with our Overgrown Tomb now. It gets a little bit better. Probably just Raven's Crime, the last two cards out of their hand. Well, actually, Inquisition the first time. Just because at least we know that they have an Ornithopter in hand. so we can save one of our lands and keep making our land drops as we go. Just take the blacksmith skill, I guess. Now we'll get rid of the Ornithopter. But it did keep kind of a weak hand, but I understand it's probably better than most moles to 5, so I understand that. Surprisingly, they don't just go ahead and get in with the Inkmoth Nexus. Just going to keep at their hand. Yeah, like once you see a Raven's Crime from your opponent, just play your cards out. You're not going to be able to just sit there and keep them. See what our opponent does here. They're in the tank an awful good amount. Yeah. Do you have it? They do. So they'll equip it. Just go ahead and fatal push it. I don't think there's a reason to shock here. I think we make a Saga token at the end step, then we don't make a Saga token the next time. And we just Loam. Okay, Stoneforge Mystic. Probably just getting another hammer, I would guess. Yep, they do. See what we draw here. We might just go ahead and make the Saga token. Okay, yeah, we're gonna... We're not gonna make the Saga token, actually. Gonna get a rack. Gonna Loam. Get our 2 cards back. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize get the last one. We probably don't care anymore about missing land drops, but this still insulates us against everything but Colossus Hammer. But and even then, it's not the end of the world if they get it. Like we don't die on the spot. Okay, opponent gets in. They have a spell that they just need to play it out. They don't, though. Now we're extremely insulated because we have this Boseiju. So we're not even worried about not even like there's we're not even worried about the card that they have in hand. Like it couldn't kill us even if they wanted it to. We're probably just Boseijuing anything at this point. Like we'll probably Boseiju the Inkmoth Nexus to get rid of a blocker. Because if they blacksmith skill it, like that's still probably lethal. Not sure what they could be floating mana for in this spot. Like if they have Colossus Hammer, they have Colossus Hammer. Okay, I do think once again we just want to float the mana here, give ourselves more options of what to do with our mana, and we're going to get the Shadowspear this time. We're going to get in there. It should not matter what they have. We'll have lethal, but just in case they have blacksmith skill. Do they have a removal spell? Maybe. No, they don't. Okay. We're just gonna cast and hit them for 2. Let's go ahead and destroy the Sagardazade, just in case they have some trick that we don't know about. Okay. I mean, they're dead no matter what. They didn't have to show us the spell pierce, but they did. Cool. I'll accept that spell piercing, and now you're dead from the rack. GG. So probably want the Pithing Needle. Probably want the Legion's End. I'm not sure if we want. I think we maybe want the Plague Engineers. Tourach is tricky. I think in normal circumstances, Life from the Loam is not great against them. Sudden Edict's not great against them. Let's go down the. Just 2 Loams isn't much anyway, but we'll go down the Loam package a bit. We'll go, and then we'll see what we have from there. Liliana, the Last Hope is also good. I think Collective Brutalities is where we want to be at. And just play a little bit more to the board instead of the grindy game. If they're prepared to play the grindy game, I think they can outgrind us. But they're playing for the earliest possible kill on their first on game 1 in the blind. This hand's great. We're keeping it. All right, let's see what our opponent's got. They mulligan to 6. We're keeping. Spell Pierce is not a card that we love playing against, but I'd much rather play against the Spell Pierce with a Hand Disruption deck than a Veil of Summer or anything like that any day. They probably have Metallic Rebuke. Maybe they don't, though. I'm not sure if these decks are artifacty enough to play Metallic Rebuke. I know they usually play Esper Sentinel. Opponent's just in the tank here. Not sure what they could have that they're debating so hard with. Well, finished the last bit of my quest chips, so Be a little bit more talkative the rest of the time. I'm not sure what they were in the tank so long about, but they were. Okay, easy Inquisition on our turn. Weirdly enough, I think we just take the Esper Sentinel. If they want to play out the Stoneforge Mystic this turn, okay, they drew the Saga. That's pretty good. I do think we kill the Stoneforge Mystic here, probably. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize first. We do have to get the hammer. Next turn, maybe we can. We have to choose between Saga Ing or Plague Engineering. Okay. Or, excuse me, Liliana Ing and Plague Engineering. I think we probably Plague Engineer. That kills one of their constructs, like, outright. And it keeps them from making a second, actually, as well. Yeah, if we just do this, we actually have to name Blink Moth, unfortunately, though. Let's name Phyrexian. Phyrexian's a little bit better than Blink Moth. So this makes them have the desire to play into our Death Touch creature a little bit more. Let's see how they play this. I think it's correct to just tap the mana, go get Shadowspear, attach Shadowspear, play Colossus Hammer, and then hope that that's good enough. But because then that puts them in a spot that the Ink Moth is back live. Of course, them not knowing about our Witherbloom command and the fact we can get Pithing Needle off our own Saga. They might have some interesting stuff here to be able to get there, like some interesting tech. The plan for me originally was to play Plague Engineer naming Construct, by the way. I don't know if I articulated this, but I kind of realized that if I do that, they can just kill me with Infect on the following turn, where they have the last Colossus Hammer in hand still. So we know about Colossus Hammer and Plains is what we know about in hand. One Colossus Hammer, one Plains. They're in the tank awfully hard about this one. Like, there can only be so many lines of their deck. Like, I don't think any of them leads to us dying. But they could deal 10 or 15 this turn. Or not 15, but like probably 13, 14, depending on what else they drew. Yeah, I'm continuing to be extremely confused about their decision here. Like, not sure what decision they could be making that's taking like 2 or 3 minutes to make. Seems like something that you could still make pretty rapidly. Like, you could get like Shadow Spear to me. It seems like the correct play because you have a Death Toucher in play. This card's not for X or anything though, but Yeah, this seems like the correct line. It's just float mana off the Saga. Probably just get a Shadowspear. Oh, a Ginger Brute. Is this a construct? That's a food golem. Okay. That's worth knowing because my intuition would say that that's a construct every time. Okay. It's just giving it haste. I don't like this play for a number of reasons, but I won't get into it too much. I think that's actually like one of the worst ones they could have made, unless they have like a play that I don't see here with the last card in hand. Okay, I still don't like that play. Cause now I can get um and we'll try to hit a land off this. Got a verdant catacombs. So we're not in the clear here, but we've got a we're in a pretty good spot. Okay. Curious if they attack with their construct token or not. I think I trade if they do that actually. I don't think I just play my land out here. I think I make me think about it in combat a little bit about what I want to block or anything. I mean, not that it matters. Like if they have lethal, they're just going to have it. Okay, they're making our decision a little bit easier. So we're just going to do Plague Engineer again, named Golem. I do like this card in your 75, but I don't think it's good here. I guess it could be wrong. Don't think I want to fetch at any point here anytime soon. So yeah, there's no point in. We'll pretend like maybe we have something with green. Name Golem. That makes all of their attacks pretty difficult. We'll probably just let's go ahead and get in here with the one that says Fire Exian. Because if we block, we're going to block with the one that says Golem anyway. I would have much rather have killed the Sagardazade in this spot. Yeah, nothing really our opponent can do right here. Gain some life back later. Just go ahead and sacrifice this now, make it harder for them. That makes it so nothing that they can top deck kills us, so we're just going to get in. We're going to wait a turn to crack this, just in case they have something extra spicy. What do you got, opponent? What do you got? Okay. Just going to play the Urza Saga and uptick for sure. Not that it matters too much which one we put this on, but I do think that it was correct for our opponent to get Shadowspear in their spot. I get what they were doing with Ginger Brute. This puts us in a weird spot because if this is a Pure Still Paladin, we'll have to Edict it with Liliana. Sanctifier and Vec. Okay. Well, it has protection from black, so we're just going to Edict it. Well, I should have got an Overgrown Tomb already with this, but we'll just get a Swamp for now. We're not going to need. It's not how this works. Opponent learned real quick. That's not how that works. You can't just choose the Ink Moth there. Okay. I don't think there's any draw on their deck that can get them out of this spot, so I think we're in the clear. Our opponent's at 2. Maybe they have a Wrath or something, so I didn't think so. Well, 2-0. That was an easy 2-0. Easy, easy 2-0. Witherbloom Command has looked really good. There was someone actually that was completely unaware that I was brewing this. I'll try to look up your name and give you a shout out in the comments of this video. Who asked me the question of had I tried a build with Splashing Green for Witherbloom Command and Veil of Summer, and I've not tried it with I've played Veil of Summer in this archetype before, but right now I don't think that Veil of Summer is quite worth the sideboard slot in the deck because we don't the way that this version of this deck is built. You might be running a different version of Rack. There's really no need for Veil of Summer when I'm running Hand Disruption. I don't care. One, I don't care too much about their Hand Disruption and counter spells, but two, Hand Disruption in general, it's just good against counter magic, and it's good against some of the other cards that people tend to run. And it's not good against Veil itself. Veil is good against us. It's not like it's Dispel where you can dispel each other back and forth. Hopefully it's not a okay, that's the card that I was hoping it wasn't. When I see one white pip, that's the one card that I'm like, God, please don't be that card. And it always is. So they do get their 2-for-1 out of it. Chappens religiously. Might get our first look at Grist. I would probably rather cast Liliana in most spots, but it looks like the Boseiju is going to keep us from being able to do that. This card is much better as a spell than a land. I might up my land count to 25 or 26 and have it and with a few more black and green sources in the deck. 25, 26 I know sounds pretty wild, but I think it's actually pretty reasonable. God, I hate this card. Unnecessarily good against the types of decks that I play. So it's only good if your opponent wants to interact with you. It's not good against Storm, right? Because it only triggers once a turn. Okay. We unfortunately, I think we just have to play at sorcery speed for a while. Just rather annoying. Or play a whole behind. Oh, we have to take the Pure Steel Paladin, and that's also annoying. Hopefully, we draw a untapped green source next turn, and we can Boseiju the Esper Sentinel, and then play the Rack. But this also gives protection from colorless, so it can actually protect it. So that's nice, I guess. For them, I mean, not so much for us. Uh, so yeah, I think the plan is go Bloodchief's Thirst, Giver of Rune. So it can't give it self protection. So we know Colossal Hammer and One Unknown is in hand. And we can just play the Rack without consequence here. They'll probably cycle the Canopy to draw a card regardless. A lot of times people will not do it at their end step. Then at their upkeep in response to the rack trigger, they'll try to get cute and do it. When definitely, if they're paying attention, like if they're going to do that, let's just do it now. Yeah, and I'm sure that's what they're doing. Doing it now makes sense no matter what anyway. But like I said, of course, we'll see. Okay, well, that's basically lethal, right? Yeah. So if we draw a green source, we can get out of this. That's the only way. Like we have a green source in hand, but we need a green source to be able to activate this, to not play it as a land. Or that. That works too, actually. I actually hate that that works because that means now we have to play the Boseiju out. So let's do that. We of course can't pay 11 generic mana to prevent it. I think I think Grist is worth getting in play here over a construct token. Grist plus the 1/1. Okay. Wouldn't have minded that swamp, but wouldn't be particularly thrilled about it either. Like if they have the second Colossus Hammer, we're just dead, but maybe they don't have it. We probably just killed the Ornithopter if they don't have a second creature to follow it up this turn. They do have the second creature to follow it up. And as long as it's... Oh, well, that's... They can just equip this to whatever. Well, we can just block. Because that loses flying. So now, once again, we gotta get a little bit cute. So we make the construct token. I think we get Pithing Needle here. And name Colossus Hammer. Maybe actually we could have gotten around this without making them draw a card. That was a mistake. So I could have went ahead and sacrificed and killed that. And it's actually going to cost us the game probably. Maybe it doesn't. It almost definitely actually costs us the game. Yeah. Well, oh, and I didn't even forget the... God, I didn't even remember to uptick that. We could have blocked because I was tilted about playing, like making that mistake. Oh well. Hopefully y'all got a lesson out of that one. Because I did not. I just got tilted about it. Plague Engineers again. Liliana the Last Hope again. Let's get rid of the Loam package. I think we actually... Grist isn't... Grist is okay. That's the thing. Sudden Edict's not that good. I think we brought in Collective Brutalities last time. They seem to be more on the white splash. So let's still go down the 2 Ravens Crime. And we'll go up we'll go up all 3 Tourachs instead of the Collective Brutality. Because the Collective Brutality, we're not concerned about their Spell Pierce this time. All right, so this is a good example of now we have to. Oh, God. Okay, we'll keep this hand. It's like now we'll have to pin back the mistake we made and just grind forward because sometimes it just happens. I don't know if we win that game anyway, but we definitely have a chance to win had we not made back-to-back mistakes on it. Uh, I hate Esper Sentinel. We have to take Esper Sentinel because if not, we're stuck for the rest of the game. We can play Urza Saga with the plan to name Stoneforge Mystic potentially. Okay. Well, now it gets trickier because I think we do want to wait one turn on the Urza Saga now because now we can just Liliana get rid of the Stoneforge Mystic. Unless they drew a bunch of artifacts they're a while away from. Should have waited and let them search first. That won't affect what they get, I'm sure, but still probably worth it to just go ahead and let them search first, then go. Nettle Cyst. I'm not sure about that play. I do like Tourach here. Tourach makes me even question like what order to play things in, whether I even want to play this. But we're just at the point where we have to. We don't have any other spells. Tourach should protect our Liliana pretty well. See if they just go land. Okay, they revealed one of their cards. They didn't have to do that. Okay, they're really on the grindy game here. So now this is tough. Do we play? I think we just have to play the Liliana. We don't even get the uptick value because we really want this Tourach. This is tough because if we don't hit the Cauldron complete with the Liliana, we probably just lose the game. And that's frustrating, but that's just the reality of the spot we're in. So we lose like multiple cards worth of value in either making a Saga token or playing a Tourach on curve. But it's our only option at this point. Okay, if they can get, oh man, so they got all three of the best card in their deck against us, which is the card that cantrips to get another good card. So of course that's a little bit tilting. They're at the point where they just went ahead and got the hammer. We can just name Stoneforge Mystic here though with a Pithing Needle. I should have brought in the second Pithing Needle. That was a mistake. Just go ahead and kick the Tourach. Okay, getting rid of the Pure Steel Paladin was the best possible there. Our uptick will probably get rid of the Cauldron as well, unless they have a way to get rid of this Pithing Needle pretty easily. Okay, so we know Nettle Cyst Cauldron. I'm not sure why we're keeping Cauldron in hand. I do get Nettle Cyst, but not Cauldron because it's just going to get discarded to Liliana eventually as well. May as well do it now so that you don't keep growing my Tourach. Yep. Well, we knew that was coming. So they do have to play the Nettle Cyst. That's also a Phyrexian, so that's worth knowing. Earlier, when I named Phyrexian instead of whatever else. Okay, so now we get rid of the Cauldron for free. But like now, if we name Phyrexian, like it that with a Plague Engineer, this is good, I think. So there's really nothing that we can kill that's worth killing. So let's target player, target opponent, because all they have to do is just activate their Inkmoth Nexus in response to me giving that -1, and it doesn't do anything. Just go ahead and play the Saga. We probably crack Expedition Map to get Boseiju. I think we hold back one more turn. Okay, Pure Steel's pretty good against us. Do fire up Inkmoth #1. Maybe we actually just get a second Saga here. I think that's actually the better play. Because we have enough mana now that we can start going crazy with it. Oh, we drew the Boseiju anyway. That's perfect. We do just want to Boseiju the Nettle Cyst, I think. That's the bigger threat going forward. Because if we had the second Pithing Needle, we could just Pithing Needle the Inkmoth Nexus. That was the correct thing to get. Yeah, I'm cool with getting this attack in. We do have to get them dead eventually. Because if we don't, it's going to get out of hand pretty quick. And we already have one blocker. Okay, just Sigarda's Aid. Perfect. I do like our opponent just firing up these Inkmoth Nexus. It doesn't really do anything, but yeah, it's fine. Just take Lily, just keeps going down. The more she fogs, the better it is for us, so I'm okay with that. This is the spot really where it's like potentially not having the second Pithing Needle here might have been a bad mistake. Because if they hit uh, exactly Colossus Hammer or Stoneforge Mystic, they can win. Let's get in and see if they are willing to chump block first. If they're willing to chump block, it changes the landscape just a little bit. There's no need to give anything trample this turn because it won't be lethal no matter what. It just takes them to 11. So then we can use our mana to play a Grist maybe next turn as well. Opponent's certainly like in the tank thinking about it. Not sure what there is to think about, but maybe just doing some quick combat math, or maybe they stepped away. All right, they just take it. I mean, that's the correct thing to do. Not that this particularly matters. Either they either they top deck the Colossus Hammer or they don't. They have hit 3 out of their 4 Stoneforge Mystics, so like it would take some pretty good luck to get that Colossus Hammer. Okay, they didn't get it. Definitely holding with bated breath there because that's the type of thing that would happen to me. All right, get the second Pithing Needle in the deck. It's common sense, man. Come on. um, any spell that I don't particularly like? Not really. That's the annoying thing. Maybe one copy of the rack. Let's do that. I do love this hand. This hand is it disrupts their combo game plan. As long as they don't turn one Esper Sentinel me here, this is a wonderful hand. If they turn one Esper Sentinel me, it's not as good. Okay, that's great. We'll take that all day. That's something we can kill with our Witherbloom Command as well. Hopefully we can get a 2-for-1 out of the Witherbloom Command. So if we look at their hand and they have Sigarda's Aid and Hammer, we're just taking one. We're not planning to get both of them eventually or anything like that. Okay, March, March. I think we take the Pure Steel Paladin here because we're not dead if they hit the hammer or if they hit the Sigarda's Aid. So I think it's fine. I'd rather them just play the hammer out here. Let's see if they do. They don't. That's okay. Now we just take the hammer. And then we name Phyrexian with Plague Engineer. Maybe we actually just name Golem because they can march. That's tricky. Let's see what they do. If we had a Fatal Push here, they would get kind of blown out. Fortunately, we don't. I don't love March as a card to bring in against us, but I also understand it. We have hate cards and things like that. If they had just had March, that they would have got out from under us. So fair play from them. Okay, now I like this better. Okay, now weirdly we do want to take the blacksmith skill. I was gonna say that I wanted to take one of the marches. Maybe we hit an Urza Saga here and can bait out. Yeah, we do hit an Urza Saga. So maybe we can bait out one of the two marches with the Urza Saga, and they won't be able to march both the Plague Engineer and the Saga on one turn. Or maybe at least long enough to give us time to find a Pithing Needle off Saga. Okay, they made the mistake. They skipped through their combat, then activated their Ink Moth. That's a pretty big tilt, I'm sure. We do just have to name Phyrexian. Uh, Hopefully, the Plague Engineer makes it long enough that we can get to human. Yeah, it does become a Phyrexian Blink Moth artifact creature. So now where they only have the one white mana, they have to make the choice of what they want to get rid of here. Oh, well, of course they get the second white mana. Okay, they do make the choice to come out after the march. Okay, that's like one of the best draws we could have asked for there. Boseiju is a wonderful magic card if you all didn't know. They exile a spell out of their hand to get rid of this thing. I think that is still a win for us. It has to be 3, or do they know X has to be 3? If they just do X equals 2, it doesn't get it. Oh, that's horrible. That's so good for me. I wonder if they know that their ink moths are for Phyrexian, because that's like a new thing. Unless they just have another removal spell that I don't know about. Okay, just a Sanctifier and Vec, yeah, that's fine. Obviously, I don't love that, but we play around it pretty well for the most part still. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, well, I think this now becomes the correct play. Let's just go ahead and get the last card out of their hand in case it's another March or something. Okay, it was a Giver of Runes. Wow, okay. Um, that puts them in a pretty tough spot. I still don't like the idea of marching my Shadowspear instead of my Plague Engineer. They could have been really working for lethal eventually. Do you think I just uptick? I still don't think my opponent realizes exactly what's going on here with the Plague Engineer and their Inkmoth Nexuses. They behaved a little bit strangely about it. This now I can just activate for 1 mana if I need to, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, that's getting got by the Boseiju for sure. Just go ahead and take care of this now. Now we get to see if they're running any sort of splash at all. I doubt it, yeah. They weren't making plays indicative of a splash. Just get rid of their last card. Stick this Liliana to the last hope. We probably just down tick it and see if... Actually, I don't see a reason to down tick it. We'll just up tick. We seem to be in a pretty good spot here. We definitely, there's plenty of things that can beat us, but hopefully there are ways off. Okay, so guard is aid. Don't love it, but it is what it is. Not sure we're really playing to a Liliana ult here, but I don't think the down tick's really doing anything right now either, so. It's just creature, right? Yeah, it's just creature. I'm assuming my opponent does just understand the Ink Moth interaction at this point. They've not tried to crew it up to block or to attack Liliana or anything, so. They seem to get it. They have to draw a 2 toughness creature to get out of the spot. And then probably Colossus Hammer back to back. Not sure what the pause is about here. Okay, this is where it gets tricky of whether or not we attack with everything or not. I think the answer has to be yes. There's no way, even if they have a haste creature on their turn, they're still in pretty good amount of trouble. Oh, so they have that. Got it. Well, now they do have to get a hammer here. They can block the Tourach if they want. That seems really bad. I was gonna say they have to now. They're committed to it. But watch this. That's why we're up ticket. That's why we waited till after combat. Just get the Plague Engineer back. Gamefire Exian again. And that still takes away pretty much all their outs. I mean, they can do that again and just recycle the fact that they're stalling for a turn, but it doesn't really do anything. Going to fetch again. Our actual life total is not in any precarious spot really at this point, so. All right, just going to attack again, see what they have. They have Nettle Cyst, that could be annoying. Okay, Blacksmith skill. But it's not a creature, so it doesn't have +2/+2 yet. So they probably don't realize that. Okay. Like it doesn't work the way that they thought it worked. All right, GG opponent. Got the rack. Whew. Goodness gracious, man. Deal 3 to you. Oh, after I had that misplay game 1, I wasn't sure we were going to get there, but we got there. Oh God, stressful, stressful games there. I'm gonna try to grab a drink real quick right before this game starts. Be right back. All right, back quickly. I'm surprised that our match queue hasn't already matched us up yet. Well, I do think that just generally speaking, Tourach is pretty good against Hammer Time. As you've watched this game, I can't, off the top of my head, it's been a really long day. We did something called staffing at work today, which is just debriefing like everybody's cases all day. So my brain's a little bit fried, as you notice by I don't make a ton of misplays, especially not on camera. I usually try to be super diligent about it, and I try to call them out when I do. And I made one misplay that was pretty bad there. Luckily, it didn't hurt us overall. We were able to win the next two. But so I can't, I'm not sure off the top of my head. Oh, that was the Jund version of Scam. So we played first. So that one's not quite a tier one deck, but it's like three cards, a three-card playset away from being the tier one version of the deck. And then back to back, the tier one, probably the second best deck in all of modern. So pretty good. I would say it's been a pretty good league so far. This hand feels weird. We are keeping it just because Nihil Spellbomb can cycle, and Witherbloom Command can get us to our third land drop if we absolutely need it. I've been extremely impressed with this card. This card's actually just really good in the meta. I will actively shout out the person who mentioned it. I was already like brewing with it and had most of the cards purchased. I was just not. I didn't want to trigger on the Boseiju yet, but pulled the trigger. Somebody else commented on it. And I'm like, you know what? That does. So I'll give you a shout out in the comments of this video once I remember the username on it. Don't have time to. Well, I guess I could look it up on my phone here and I can tell. I give you the shout out in the video. Should have done that maybe at the beginning of the video if I had thought of it. But I could use my cell phone here so we don't have to switch off screens. And I'm going to tell you too that I'm actually. Okay, hopefully this draws us a card. Witherbloom gaining us some life is nice. Okay, it did draw us a card, sweet. Sudden Edict is good. We'll try to let this draw a card. It'll at least scry for us, and we'll debate on whether or not. Okay. So we're going to fatal push this now. We'll let them see if this draws us a card. The rack, yeah, we don't want the rack yet. Maybe we do actually, but we don't want the rack more than we want to get rid of 2 points of damage here. That makes up for the two that we lost off the Eidolon. It would have been nice to have a basic force in the spot. I think we're pretty okay getting rid of the Sudden Edict at this point. Hopefully we're in a spot here in a minute where we can shock or fetch for a shock land tapped. Oh, so just to give you a shout out, it is Nicholas Bradley is who mentioned it. Nicholas Bradley. So if you're watching this video here, shout out to you for mentioning that in my last video just 19 hours ago now too. It's been just a few minutes basically. Uh compared to, just how time kind of works. Been a few minutes since I saw it, I should say. So they're not going to worry about spiking the Liliana. They're coming after me. Got it. If we hit a removal spell, we'll just use that on the Swift Spear. Hmm. Yeah, we don't want to. Hmm. It's tricky. We don't really have too many good main deck ways here to gain life. Oh, there's one of them. Wow, that can this makes me this exact scenario here makes me want to have a forest in the deck. Unfortunately, we're just shocking. Let's get the swamp this time. Play out the Shadowspear. We could have just played the Grist there, but the likelihood is that the last spell in hand is just a burn spell. So all the Witherbloom Command did was basically make up for the fact we had to shock. Could have just played it tapped, but I don't think that's. They played the Shockland tap and done nothing, or it just played the Shadowspear maybe. But I'd rather just go ahead and draw the card off of it essentially. This is good value here. So this does encourage them to, if they have a spell, just play out their spell. If they have two burn spells, then they should have just done it on their turn. Oh, huh. It was very specifically the only way that they get like super punished by that is if they don't have enough mana. So hopefully we make it to our turn. If we make it to our turn, if they we have to have them brick on everything. It's got to be a land. Of course, it's not because they're the bolt deck. But like we if we can just get to our turn, we win that game. It's unfortunate, but just how it works. All right, the collective brutalities are easy. We're not built for the burn matchup anymore, which is annoying. Like typically, we're actually pretty good against burn. Liliana's okay. Tourachs are probably where we want to be. And lose the Nihil Spellbomb. Tourach just gives us an extra clock because we only have two racks. We have a little bit of a slower clock. Maybe lose the Loam package for something else. Actually, yeah, I do think we want to get rid of life from the Loams if we have a second to do it. And we'll do one Legion's End, one of the Plague Engineers, because Plague Engineer, it's a body. Legion's End's better for what we want it to do, but Plague Engineer's a body. It trades with 8 out of their 12 creatures and shrinks the other one if we need it to, so. All right. But it's taken a minute to sideboard, hoping that we can pull this one out. 3-0 starting out, like we're never going to turn our head back at a league that we that we get what we want to get out of it, but which is the next league. Let's play the Shadowspear instead of the Raven's Crime. Probably just discarding the Raven's Crime to Liliana's ability. Okay. This is definitely the best creature they have against us, I think. Just how our Just how our deck lines up with them. Not sure. They have a pause on our upkeep. I do think we just play the Tourach here and hope for whatever reason they just ignore it, even though the Shadowspear is in play. It might have been smarter to Raven's Crime the first turn and then try to sneak and like play Tourach and equip the Shadowspear the following turn. Okay, they do bolt the Tourach, which is the correct play, obviously. Seeing what we have in play. Grist on top. Okay. Anytime that we can get a removal spell on one of our creatures instead of at our face, that gives us just a little bit more time. Like I said, our opponent is playing pretty slow for a burn deck. Like there's no reason for them to not just F6 through our turn. Like they couldn't have anything. I hear that here it's a decision point for them though. Obviously, like they want to figure out which creature to sacrifice. But outside of that, now I'm curious if they'll attack the Liliana or not. Okay, they do, which means that they're interested in playing a grindier game. Once again, I don't know why if they're going to have that stop on my upkeep. I wish they'd pay just a little bit better attention. All right, see how they respond to Raven's Crime. I'm guessing that they'll just use another removal spell on the Plague Engineer as we play it. Not sure why you get rid of Lightning Helix in that spot. That seems like the play to play maybe at end of turn, but maybe they have 3 or 4 like a Boros Charm or something in hand. We'll just name Human. Just make it their life just a little bit more difficult if we can. So that looks like that they just have multiple Lightning Helixes, which is whatever. Just okay. No, it's Boros Charm. So that was the other card that made sense. Maybe they have several 2 mana spells. So Lightning Helix on the Plague Engineer once again makes sense. That they have all those 2 mana spells gumming up their hand. We really need either a removal spell or the ability to immediately equip something. That's neither, but we have to play it out because it gives us a body maybe to equip the Shadowspear to. There's like I'd say there's a 50% chance we're just dead this turn. Okay, no like lava spikes before combat makes me feel like that's not the case. Okay, Riftbolt Exile is another Riftbolt Exile or a lava spike. Why not do that before combat? Good God. That's frustrating to watch. Like that's okay. Just is what it is. This is tough because look at the problem here. So we have the choice. Nothing we do matters in this spot. We can equip the Shadow Spear to the construct, and they'll just kill it with the Rift Bolt. Or we can play the rack. And either way, we're just dead. But maybe for some unforeseen reason they just Rift Bolt us. I hate that we took all the marches out and then we immediately play burn. Uh, okay, they just like they have lethal no matter what. I'm sure. Probably several ways that they have lethal. Why? Unless you have it, why are you doing that? And if you do have it, why are you doing that? See, that's stupid. Play the damn cards. Don't do that. Burn players are notorious for that, by the way. It's like they pretend like it's like they're getting some sort of extra value out of it. Like as far as like, oh, I could be playing around this or this. It's like you're not. I know you're not. You know you're not, and that's okay. But just go ahead and play the cards for me. 3-1. I do think we can go 4-1. This deck, out of all the decks we've been playing recently, I think this one has the best chance of being a good deck, like long term, and maybe getting some 5-0s. I might try to even run this deck back tonight. I'm not sure. Even if we lose this matchup, it's just already demonstrated how good it is against Hammer Time. That I think maybe it's worth it to play test it just a little bit more. Just easy take the expressive iteration, not even a thought, because their hand is pretty horrible except for the expressive iteration. So they know what my top card is. Hopefully it's one. Hopefully they didn't draw a creature. Okay, they didn't. Okay, it's Thoughtseize. Um, I guess I just cast a Thoughtseize here because we'll take the Unholy Heat to protect the Liliana. Let's take the expressive iteration again, though. Maybe it's correct to play the rack out there, but I think it's more important to get rid of. Okay, they get rid of the Unholy Heat on their own. That's fine with me. Not sure about that one, but hopefully they don't counterspell here. That's the one card that kind of punishes this line. Of course they have it. Which that's actually probably better for us that they do counterspell because our hand is pretty good with what we have in play, and they have nothing as of now. So they just have the Ledger Shredder. Cool. They get the free loot. Okay, this is great because that means that land draw means that we can Fatal Push and make our Saga token. Anything but Murktide here, we're okay with. Okay, so no Murktide, perfect. Sure, there's no lava darts or anything like that here, is there? No, there's not. Okay, still don't get Murktide. Come on, don't do it. You know how to crack your eyelet, man? You just tap it. It says pay one, tap it. There you go. We'll see if they have a removal spell. They appear not to. Instead of worrying about getting one extra damage in here by playing out the rack, we're going to go ahead and cantrip before. Okay. I don't particularly care about Brazen Borrower. It is a win condition for him, but not one I'm particularly impressed with. This is tough. I do think we shocked the Overgrown Tomb. I hate doing that, but because that reduces their clock by a whole turn with their Brazen Borrower. This just hits non-lands in general. We probably are just okay with just playing this as a land. I don't think there's really anything in their deck that this gets. Let's just go ahead and let's just Raven's Crime them. We'll name Mishra's Bauble with this. We do have a faster clock than they do. By a turn, I guess, right now. The borrower can't block the construct. I wonder if they know that. I'm sure they do. Yep, they do. They're just going to get in. All right, we'll attack first. Let's bet Bauble. Bauble or land? Which one is it? Land. Okay. It's just a land. Land of our own should be lethal, depending on what they draw. Okay, so they're still getting in there. They're confident that they have something, I guess. Okay, they're just bolting now. That still puts them. So they have to draw bolt, and they can win if they draw exactly bolt. So they draw anything but bolt or a spell that deals any sort of damage to us. They lose. Do they have bolt? Okay. Do we not have bolt? Okay, now we got insulation too, so. In case they have like Archmage Charm draw two. Okay, they're just dead. Cool. We got game one. Do you think we want the second spell bomb? We have to keep the Pithing Needle. This is one of the more frustrating things against them specifically. We have to keep the Pithing Needle at least one in the main deck because the main way they blow us out is engineered explosives. So that's as unfortunate as that is. That's just how it is in this spot. I think our main deck is obviously like I tend to design my deck to be pretty good against them. I'm not sure how good Loam is against what they have going on. It's probably fine. I think we probably go down one Witherbloom Command in exchange for the second Pithing Needle or for the Nihil Spellbomb, because the Witherbloom Command doesn't kill most of their creatures. It can kill one of their like it can kill Ragavan, but that's really it. And I don't not sure anything. So we could debate on if they bring Graveyard Hate out, then our game plan changes a little bit. Then we get off this loan plan, but I don't think we showed them anything that tells them, hey, be careful bringing Graveyard Hate. So DRC, I'm fine with here. Ragavan's a little bit trickier. If they start getting ahead of on mana and card advantage, okay, Ragavan is the trickier one. I hate drawing that Pithing Needle. We really just want it in the deck just to have it out. We don't care about the green source because of we have the Boseiju in hand, and we're not going to use that more than likely as anything other than a land. So, next turn we probably Boseiju, Sudden Edict, their Ragavan, assuming that they don't draw like Thoughtseize or Inquisition with their Ragavan here. They do draw Thoughtseize, which they always do when they're playing Ragavan. They always either draw the Thoughtseize or they draw the Fatal Push. Hopefully, hold up the counterspell. Hold up the counterspell. Do it. Ah, oh, God, they didn't do it. I thought they were going to maybe get cute and try to hold up counterspell. Okay, so put it once again. Taking a minute. This is a little bit trickier of a Thoughtseize, so give them the time they need. That's like by far the worst card in my hand for them to have taken. I think that's just absolutely silly. If we have an Urza Saga, we have another way to get a rack. Silly, 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 opponent. Silly. Just silly. Well, we'll Inquisition them. Because Sudden Edict doesn't do any good yet. If they want to Spell Pierce, that's fine. Okay. Get rid of the Expressive Iteration. Annoying that that now has the ability to get around. What we're doing. Name the Engineered Explosives. That also reveals to them that we don't have an Engineered Explosives of our own, but I think that's okay. Okay, so they're choosing whatever cards on top of their library is so good that they want it. So let's see what that is. Really just sticking the Ragavan and getting underneath this is what, if anything kills us, it's going to be that. Okay, just a Ledger Shredder, that's fine. Another creature is not necessarily fine. Okay, it's a Lightning Bolt. Very aggressive hand from our opponent. We have, like, shit all for removal, so I had to think. I was like, I've already cussed this video, so I think it'll be okay. Okay, well, so Raven's Crime sucks on the draw, apparently. Guess this keeps us alive one turn. Seems like they're maybe even just a more aggressive version of the deck. God, I did. Okay, that's fine. I'm not even sure. Wasn't even sure that my mouse was underneath the Boseiju there. Like if they hit one of our spells and can double spell, okay. Because say that them being able to double spell on our turn would be trouble. Okay, this. I mean, we're alive because of this, so we can block the Ragavan with the Saga token, and then we can Sudden Edict their Ledger Shredder at some point. Them hitting multiple of our lands there is a little bit rough. They just have Unholy Heat. Okay. Not sure why you keep Unholy Heat in the deck against us, seeing what you saw. Okay, well, that was the card that we needed to have a chance to win the game, so that's probably not going to happen now. Any way that we can get out of this? I don't think so. So we're just going to scoop. Yeah, we don't have a card to get out of that situation. Well, now we know maybe you keep. Well, I'm not even going to say that. I think it's still the correct plan to go down to 2 Witherbloom commands because it literally just kills Ragavan. We have 6 spells that could have killed him, and we did hit one. But that's the way that they kind of get under you and over you. Was there a card? There was a card that I was thinking maybe that we should have brought in. Maybe we'll go down a couple Raven's Crimes for a couple interactive spells. Let's do that. Let's pitch the loan package. Maybe we'll keep like one. Well, we'll bring back in one Witherbloom command so that we still can do the repeating Saga thing, and then we'll go Legion's End. Definitely got to be on the play in this matchup. Okay, this is a good hand against their deck. Whether or not this gets us there, I don't know, but this is a good hand against their deck, so let's do it. Got to have some good draws for it to get there. All right, opponents in the tank about whether or not they want to keep this game. I love me a good 4-1. We like 4-1. Unfortunately, when you play the rack is so much better of a paper event deck than it is a online deck, just because it's really hard to go exactly 5-0 with a deck this fair. I do think we just take the Ledger Shredder here. Expressive Iteration is better, but if we don't find a way to keep their board clear, we could be in trouble. I think this is more mana efficient. Let's do it like this. If I had had this Witherbloom command, I would have taken the Expressive Iteration, but this guarantees that our Witherbloom command cantrips, and that's important. So Miller Selves, kill Ragavan. Maybe, hopefully, we get back to Saga. We're just gonna get the swamp here. So cute little cantrip effect for our Witherbloom. It's just when it can draw you a card and kill something, it's worth playing in your deck consistently. So I typically like to run a little bit more fetch lands with it, but we did go down the fetch lands to fit the Boseiju. Not sure what this could be representing. Could be a number of things. Okay. Very odd. Okay. Still don't. If you're going to do that, why not bobble first yourself and then check? But I guess they just wanted to know what's on top of my deck. Real bad. If they spell pierce us, they spell pierce us. They don't. They ain't got it. We're actually just going to get rid of the Boseiju. It's the worst card land wise in our hand, or at least close. It's about on par with Verdant Catacombs there, and our opponent knew about the Boseiju, so just one less card in hand that they know about. So they play their hand, making me think that looks like maybe they are struggling, that they're not okay. That I don't know what they were doing. I think they were trying to cast Murktide, maybe. I guess we play the Saga instead of the Peatland here. So they just consider. Okay, if they didn't have it before, they have it now. They probably were debating on. I'm hoping they were debating on whether or not to cast the expressive iteration, then realized that they may as well just wait one turn before they do that instead of having the Murktide. But not sure how much better the express. That's what it was. That they wanted to be able to guarantee their expressive iteration was a 2-for-1, which is understandable. Oh, what did they exile? Lightning Bolt? That's basically just a cantrip then. 3 damage to us doesn't really mean anything right here. Yep. Okay, hopefully this hits something. Come on, let's hit something good. It's not a bunch of lands, I don't think. Okay, we're just taking the expressive iteration. That's pretty easy. So we have the fatal push for the Ledger Shredder. I think most of these decks have actually gone down on their Murktides to like 2 or 3 instead of the full 4, just because of how prepared people are with like main deck graveyard hate and such. Okay, we knew about the island, so let's see if they commit to double spelling here. Just in case they have counterspell or a bolt or something specifically, will fatal push before we make the saga token. I think there's a chance that they sideboarded out their Murktide region as well. We've not seen it in a few games. It could just be Underworld Breach, or they're still playing Underworld Breach though. So see what they have here. In this spot, I think it is correct to get the expedition map. And just restart the train again. That plays around removal better. It plays around dress down a little bit better because it delays. Okay, so just petty theft. Got it. Expedition map. Come on. Please pass priority back. They've played so slow this game. Okay. Gives us several cards of card advantage again, being able to get the expedition map. Just don't draw anything good, opponent. That's all we ask of you. Don't draw anything good. If it's worth drawing, don't draw it. Explosives on 0. Okay. That's why we keep the Pithing Needle in the deck. Knowing that we knew about, that's just another card that I'm like, I don't get why they are running that card currently. But teach their own. We are going to play the Grist. Do you think we tick it up this turn? Not that we have much other choice. So I'm going to create the construct token here to see if I can force them into blowing up the engineered explosives, making them a little bit scared maybe. Okay. They don't take the bait. Grist is good for a few reasons here. It's going to make our clock be able to race their clock. Even with the engineered explosives on 0. This makes them have to attack the Grist or they'll lose their Brazen Borrower. And it also allows us to get at least one more insect token out of Grist. There's unless they have attack with Borrower and bolt the Grist, then we're in good shape. Because they have to crack engineered explosives in response to the Saga tutoring. Or they more than likely lose. Alright, not sure what our opponent's doing. Taking their time, that's for sure. Okay, not sure what they could be casting that's... Okay, just Underworld Breach, yeah. Yep. Okay. What do they cast here? Hoping that they bring back both Ledger Shredders instead of Ledger Shredder plus Ragavan, but I know that they'll Well, this is bad too because now, like, okay, this is really bad for them actually. Like now, I just get the Pithing Needle to name the engineered explosives if they do anything other than just play the Ragavan and let this die. So once again, like their play not really making much sense. But what do you do? You know, I like we're a weird. They know about the Pithing Needle though. That's the thing. If they didn't see the Pithing Needle the game before, naming engineered explosives, then I would get it. But like very clearly, I don't know. I don't know what their thought process here could even possibly be. And I think maybe now like this super long pause, they're realizing that because like they just wasted their underworld breach or they're dead. But also like you made a mistake. It takes about 3 seconds to realize you made a mistake. Just go ahead and correct the mistake. Are they just going to cast Mistress Bauble Ragavan? So they do cast Ragavan. That's I agree with them on that. Like now that you're here, that's what you have to cast. Now you can cast Bobble, and that's it. Or you if you cast Ledger Shredder, you probably lose. Okay, there's Bobble. Got it. Bobble me, I guess, for more information. Once again, still taking our time from our opponent. Just go ahead and make the decision to Bobble. Yeah, I think that's once again, I think that's correct. Like you've already made the mistake of playing the Underworld Breach. Like you might as well just get a few cards off of it. Just wish they would do it a little bit faster though. That's the thing that I'm like, just do that. Oh God, are they blowing up the engineer explosives now? There's no reason to do that. Okay, yeah, like there's no reason to do that, opponent. Or you just want to play it on zero again? I'm just gonna name Pithing Needle on it still. Ugh, you've let me get a body for free now. God, that was horrible. Horrible magic play. I'm sorry, but like I don't even mean to be mean, but like I can't explain how bad that was. I know that you draw three cards. I know, but now like you left me in the game for no reason. I guess let's just get a rack at this point. Crack this in case there's something better to do. Do you think Thoughtseizing here is incrementally better than Legion's ending? Just take the consider. +1. We milled over our Shadowspear. That's annoying. So our opponent is on a faster clock than we are, unless they attack the Grist. Then it's about the same. No, they'd still be on a faster clock because they don't have to cast the spells out of their hand. All right, just please, for the love of God, opponent, hurry up. Like that's the big thing that I'm asking. More Mishra's Baubles, okay. Say a Ragavan attack would just indicate that that's who they have in hand. This is tricky for them because like now you have the question of do you crack the baubles now so that you can potentially have counter magic on my turn, or do you wait so that you can play around hand disruption? They choose to wait to play around hand disruption. Very long pause for some reason. I'm not sure what could be that they were having to read it maybe. Once again, like our opponent's playing one of the most straightforward decks to pile in the format. Okay, well, we got you. Sorry. Okay, you can, yeah, you can check. Please play faster, opponent. Thank you. We know their hand. I don't know if you all realize that or not. Like we do know their hand. So we knew about the Spire Bluff Canal from before. They never played it out. They do get to draw too, though. But they do take the damage first. Once again, like I said, just wishing our opponent would play a little bit quicker. Maybe they're undefeated right now and are like trying to play for the 5-0. I don't know. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, that was literally the two best cards they could have drawn back to back. So good for them. Yeah, they get rid of their Spire Bluff Canal. Expressive iteration doesn't necessarily mean what they draw into will be the best. We just dismiss this for now. But they have missed a lot of the cards that are good for them to play. So Murktide Regent, okay, that card is good for them to play. That's definitely a good Magic card here. Please play just a little bit quicker, opponent. Come on. Okay, they chose not to. I guess they didn't have a choice to make it lethal. Hopefully that gives us a chance here. It makes their play a little bit more awkward, but so now they take we can't attack obviously. So they take two, go to six. If they attack with both, if we have a way to empty their hand, they lose. The only card that would let us do that twice. Wow, they draw all four of those. One, two, three. Yeah, they drew all four of those. Well, that'll be what kills you is having all four of their card advantage spell. And they've all generated card advantage except for the one that hit lightning bolt only generated halfway card advantage, I would say. As well as that one. That one only kind of generates halfway card advantage. Okay, they make the correct decision and just attack with just the Murktide. The only way they attack with the Ledger Shredder, I'm sure, is if they have Bolt. Let's see if they get too cute. I mean, it's possible. They've made some weird decisions all game. Okay, they that is definitely the incorrect block. Like that's the one that you could lose the game potentially. So that's very weird. This one's a little bit tilting because our opponent has played, frankly, like god awful this whole third match between the engineered explosives and this, and we just haven't been able to punish them, unfortunately. But that's okay. Like it happens. Uh, we're not playing for the 5-0 anyway. And I think I would be much less salty if they weren't at 5 or 6 minutes on their timer at this point. I'm gonna let them play it out, or I don't know though. We'll concede because I won't make you all sit through them taking 3 minutes to attack here. So, uh, Fun League. I'll have this posted up hopefully by the end of the night tonight. Sorry for getting a little bit salty there at the end. Like I said, I don't mind getting salty, or I don't get salty over people, you know, winning or things like that. But the crazy amount of time of mine that person wasted by playing incorrectly and then playing extremely slowly on top of playing poorly salted me out a little bit. Sorry. I do think this deck has legs. I'm going to be playing it again soon, hopefully, and I will see you in that video when we do. Keep racking.